Estoy tratando. I don't even speak Spanish. I don't know why I did that. God, this is just awful, isn't it? There is just something inherently masochistic about man. We have to be one of the few that just puts ourselves out there to be slaughtered. And that's what makes us human. Not throwing. Just the freaking inability to not self-flagellate. Is that the right word? I don't know. Freaking fairly good at not appearing to be nervous. That seems to have gone all out of the window the second I actually put myself out there. Help. Fuck me in the ass, am I right? I don't know why that just broke my brain. It was just a freaking toothbrush. But that absolutely rocked my shit. I don't remember anything. Damn, okay. I'm more frazzled than I thought it was. Okay. I started doing this. I think I'm doing self-affirmations now. There is a mirror in front of me. I started doing this because I don't really have a lot of people to talk about a Superman movie with for God knows how many hours. Because people do like listening to me talk, because I'm good at it. But even after a while, they realize that I'm not gonna stop. You know, everything in moderation, except I don't know what that word means. So I guess I'm doing this here and now because I watched it like 2 weeks ago and I did all this work, and sometimes I make myself do so much work that I can't put down a project or I'll fall into a deep depression. It's called weaponizing your mental illnesses, and it gets shit done. I'm very good at failing a task successfully. I started doing this because doing short form content made me realize I just don't know how to talk. So I'm hoping if I metaphorically throw myself out into a huge stage, then I can pretend that this is a person and I can actually talk instead of trying to fit it into a short amount of time. Anyways, got my prep, got my references. Wow. Oh shit. My bad. Wow. He's still a little too white for this. And I got skeletal system. Who frickin' knows? This little dog. I guess I'll see how this goes. I don't really know if it's pretend that I'm talking to someone or talking to myself. I don't really know how to portray confidence in a way that is not inherently damaging to my own self-esteem. So I'm just gonna do what I good at. Pretend that no one's watching, because why would someone watch me? See? You can be confident. Pretend that people like you, or you can pretend that everyone hates you and also be confident and do whatever you want. And one of them has damaging effects on your self-esteem, but at least you're not sad because you're hiding parts of yourself. I'm not a healthy person in any sense of the word. I got 4 hours of sleep last night. Anyways, I have like 37 bullet points to get through. So let's just start, I suppose. Oh, God. I don't know why I decided to do clay. I'm actually not good at clay. I can't really do 3D art very well. Our brain doesn't understand it fundamentally. they say. Carpe diem. Okay, so how does this movie start? This movie starts with Superman sort of lying on the ground, bleeding out in the snow. It's a good contrast because you got the blue and the red against like this icy white, and we get a little like Star Wars-esque kind of like words on the screen intro. They did everything in threes because of alliteration, because God forbid a comic book company doesn't use some sort of pattern system. And I mean, I guess it is a Superman movie. That man is just attracted to people with the initials LL. It's written into his freaking DNA at this point. I guess if you want to count Connor Kent as his child, then it's a little more than written in metaphorical DNA. Anywho's what's it? I don't really remember a lot of it. It was just like 300 years ago. There was superheroes. 30 years ago, Superman came down to Earth. 3 years ago, he became Superman. And 3 minutes ago, he lost a fight. No, 3 hours ago, the Hammer of Bavaria came. And then 3 minutes ago, he lost his first fight. I think that's how it went. I'm starting with playing this down. And hopefully it gives me a solid base. I think I kind of fucked up the head though. So I'm just going to pretend there isn't. That dog's heads look like this, I suppose. It's fine. It's fine. I'll fix it or I won't. I'm the one that has to look at this every day, I suppose. I could always just throw it away if I ate it. Anyway, so Superman's bleeding out on the ground. He calls over his dog. I'll just call him his dog. He calls over Krypto, and then Krypto immediately just mollywops him. Like, actually, X-Men style, jumps the motherfucker. There's something about dogs that just don't fundamentally understand pain. Like, they feel pain and they'll express it, but they just don't understand that other people feel pain. It's not a concept they can grasp. Same with most animals, like snakes. Sometimes if you let a snake go on you, then they'll just like pull your finger back because they fundamentally do not understand that your arms don't bend in a certain way. It's like that. Dogs just don't understand pain. You have to be they're kind of like autistic in that way. You have to be really specific about what emotion you're feeling for them to understand that, hey, when a 300-pound dog jumps on you, that's not really great for your body. You can't really support that, can you? But Krypto's a dog with Superman powers, so that's, I guess to Superman, it's just the equivalent of a dog, is it? I don't imagine he hits any harder than a dog would. Think about it equivalently. It wouldn't make any sense for him to hit harder. Unless Kryptonian dogs are some sort of weird disadvantage. I mean, advantage over Kryptonians. I don't really know what Kryptonian wolves had to fight, or what Kryptonian dog breeders or breeding dogs for to hunt. Because a lot of dog breeds came from like, oh, we wanted to kill badgers, so we made a small dog that can go into badger holes. We want to herd cattle, so we made a small dog that can go under cattle hooves. We wanted a dog that can point to ducks, so we made one. So a lot of it's like that. But Krypto's also a mutt. So I guess you can't really get a lot of information from him, huh? God damn, that scared me. I really need to turn my notifications off. What else? Oh, okay. So then Krypto drags his ass over to the medical bay where we get introduced to Four, who kind of does the classic I can't feel, I'm a robot, your meanings of love do not permeate my coding, all you say to me is in vain. I'm just here to do what you say. Soft bitch. Anyways, it's kind of the classic that. He's played by Alan Trudeau. Alex Trudeau? I don't freaking remember. That's interesting enough in its own regard. He's a pretty good actor. He played Joker in the Harley Quinn movie, so that's kind of interesting. Eek. This is a little ugly. Kind of reminds me of the Spice versus Spy things with the pointy ass head. Or I might start ending up looking like Zero. It's fine, you can fix it. Maybe, probably not. I don't know what I'm doing. I could have looked up videos to figure out how to do clay well. But I just decided if I ask for clay over the winter, that I can just figure it out. And that was 2 Christmases ago. And I have not figured it out. The most I made is little tchotchkes like this. This is all I figured out how to do, and I haven't figured out how to do that very well. But you know, you live and you learn, I suppose. Okay. He gets about to 60% because he has to go. We see the message his parents send to him for the first time. He only has half of it. That will be important later. And then he gets mad at them for not watching Krypto correctly, and that's kind of a whole spiel of it. We don't give a shit about your fucking dog, Clark. Okay? We did what we could. It's basically what Four says to him. And then... God, people. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. I like pretending there's no one here. It makes me disassociate easier. Oh god. What's happening? Oh yeah, he goes to find Hammer in Bavaria. He can speak, which becomes a point of contention for most people when speakers just exist. They just kind of exist. The Hammer defeats him. It's kind of a big thing. There's a falafel guy whose name I'm forgetting, which is actually kind of a sin. Between him and Eve, they're actually the real heroes of the movie. He helps him up, I believe, in this scene. And Lex does not like that at all. It's like the whole like thing where it's like, he will remember that notification. Where are we? Leaders are... Oh, and then the Hammer says this big speech about how he won't forget this or whatever, and then he leaves. He goes to this secret base, and then he goes inside the wormhole, and then he's in the pocket dimension, and then he goes to Lex's place, and it's like, wow, they were working together this whole time. That wasn't really the surprise. The surprise comes out because he like takes off his mask and he turns out to be Ultraman. Which is another thing, because, like, if you watch the, like, I think it's the JLU universe, like, Ultraman's a completely different entity. Like, the Justice Lords, universe and whatever. Which I guess, I'm pretty sure in that continuity it's because the Flash died, and then he changed his name to Ultraman. So then what does a U mean? That's kind of neither here nor there. I knew I heard the name Ultraman before when I saw like the posters, but I completely forgot from where until it kind of like came back to me in a flashback. The universe is kind of weird because God forbid Wonder Woman isn't shipped with Superman or Batman. And it happens so many times in that universe. And like, Owlman, Bailey. She was so hot in that universe. She could have done so much better. Like, guy that calls him the fucking Owl Man. The Court of Owls doesn't fucking exist. Can't even come up with a clever ass name. Anyways. Oh yeah. Now Clark's at his house. Which is not his house. Why the fuck did I say house? Oh, because my hands are shaking. Right. He goes to his job. Steve bullies him. And he's talking to his parents, who do the old person thing where they're like 50 feet away from their phone and kind of just go like... Which is fun, little detail. I like when they do like little stuff that makes the world feel lived in. Anyways, Steve bullies him. He does like his hello to Jimmy. Cat's there. Lois. Oh god, I've caught myself in a loop. Okay. Lois Lane. I don't really remember what she does in that scene. She just kind of talks to him. Oh, yeah, because there's the news report going on in the background. And basically, the news report has, like, the Bavarian leader. I keep saying Bavaria. I didn't actually look up if it was Bavaria. He's kind of got that grandpa stereotype that, like, Rick and Morty and the guy from Fast and the Furious have, where they have that white hair that just goes everywhere. And they kind of just have this vibe of, I'm old enough to not give a shit anymore. And if you take my hand and follow me, I'm not responsible for what happens to you. And I kind of aspire to be like that in life. It's like, sort of vibe of like, yeah, you'll have the craziest night of your life if you go with him, but, you also will be in so much danger. It's like not even funny. Yeah. I do kind of, on that note, I so want to be like the grandparent that lives all alone in like this ratchety old house like in Home Alone, where everyone low-key thinks that they murdered his wife and like everyone's scared of him. Because I'm not smart enough to be mad scientist grandpa. And I don't have a time machine, so I can't be a mafioso in the friggin' 40s. So I guess I have to get a wife, and then I have to get an unhealthy wife that will die before me. Then I'll have to get crazy plastic surgery to make myself look crazed, or like do a bunch of drugs. And then I'll have to lock myself in the house like a hermit and do creepy things like just look outside of my suspiciously upkept flower garden that just came out of nowhere right when my wife died. And then just like freak trick-or-treaters out or something. So that's kind of my goal in about 60 years, you know. For that to work, the Wildcrap brothers have to live longer, because we kind of got this unofficial suicide pact going on. They don't really know about it, but I can't live without them. They're my childhood. What can you do? You know, sometimes you got 60 years. Unless I'm not a secret scientist. I'm getting off on this weird tangent. I need to lock the fuck in. Where am I? Okay, oh yeah. Lewis, they convince, I'm just gonna call her Lane because I'm gonna hurt myself in my own confusion. They go home because she's like, oh, is Clark Kent gonna interview Superman again because the leader of Bavaria is like doing propaganda in the propaganda machine, which is the news. And They go home and they have this kind of fight where basically Clark, he can write whatever he wants. He doesn't have to actually do an interview. He just has to write something down. And he can sit and he can think about his answers and he can write about it. The thing is, like, just because you write the news doesn't mean you're media trained. So when Lane does her thing, because she's a Pulitzer winning, well, I don't know if she is in this universe, reporter, she does it the way a reporter would, because this isn't her boyfriend, she's a fucking professional. Like, this is Superman, and Superman did this thing where he stopped this war, he got into some geopolitical conflict, and that's not something you can just say, oh, hey, you did a good thing that doesn't have complications against multiple world governments, so you can just do whatever. Like, it's not something people can just blow over the rug. It's not saving a cat in the tree where everyone's just like, good job. Like, no, it's, like, complicated, unfortunately, because that's kind of how the world works. So she asks questions that people would want to know. She's not going to do a fluff piece. As I said, she's a fucking professional. Unlike Clark. Oh, God. This is looking worse by the second. And he kind of freaks out. Because, it's a new relationship. You still have idealized versions of each other. For some reason, in his mind, despite him, like, having a Superman personality and a Clark University personality, he thinks she's gonna go easy on him because they're dating and they're in love or whatever. Must be fucking nice. But she doesn't. And that catches him off guard, and he keeps trying to, like, fix his sentences because in his mind he's right. What he's doing is right. There's no debate, no nuance, no context. People are gonna die. It was a war. He stopped the war. End of sentence. Full stop. And there's nothing inherently wrong about the sentence. Like, war is not good. People not dying is good, but it's more complicated than that. And when you're directly a part of the issue, you have a hard time seeing those nuances because no one wants to be the bad guy, especially when you think you're doing the right thing. So he's caught off guard and he gets a little defensive. And then it kind of gets a little personal with the super shit thing. And then he, like, starts talking about himself in the third person. It gets a little silly. But the fact of the matter is that basically, like, he did this thing and people want answers and she's gonna get them, and he doesn't feel like he owes anyone any answers, and so he doesn't take this as seriously as she did. And when she realizes that she's not gonna pull her punches, he sort of freaks out a little bit. I think she was incredibly nice to him. She took things off the record when they were on the record. She stopped whenever she did. She asked multiple times if she was okay. Like, Clark, she took it easy on you because you were a boyfriend. That was her taking it easy on you as a professional, like, I don't know, writer, journalist, that's the word. She was taking it easy on you, dude. Anyways, he leaves. She takes it a little personally. Relatable. Thinking that she drove away another person, which is kind of relatable because she's obviously a woman who isn't quote unquote submissive. She's very assertive and confident in her role, and I would imagine a woman like that probably has experienced some hardship in her dating life, probably experienced quite a few men or something, whether it be in her professional or romantic dating life, that probably were, like, trying to bring her down, whether intentionally or not. And so, after a while that kind of plays into your psyche. She's probably like, oh, I was too much again. and I drove another guy away, or something like that. Something along those lines, I would imagine. And then he's just kind of butthurt about everything. He's just kind of going through it. Anyways, we can stop talking about this scene now. I just think it was a very interesting one. There's a meeting with the council. There's a few scenes where I just don't remember when it happened. I watched this movie like 3 weeks ago. So there's a meeting with the council, and it's like the Secretary of Defense, Red Flag Sr., and some other people, and Lex Luthor's sort of like saying, hey, this guy, get a load of him, freaking alien-ass, bitch-ass motherfucker, we should get him the fuck out of here. And by out of here, I mean this plane of living. Assuming there is a heaven. Or hell. And they're kind of like wishy-washy about that. They're like, people like him. We can't really do anything about him. And he's like super powerful. And they also mention that there's like, I don't know if they do it in this scene or another scene, but like, there's no more. No, they did this in another scene, sorry. So basically they're talking about that. And in the background, Lex kind of had the engineer go off and basically find where the Fortress of Solitude is. And he kind of tries to use that as a bargaining point, like, hey, people aren't supposed to be doing anything in Antarctica unless they have all these, like, permits and stuff, because, God forbid, start a war over anything. And I do kind of find that funny how they all, like, brush that off. And they're like, what are we gonna do, start a war with Superman in Antarctica? Go to the fucking NATO and draw up a treaty saying he has to get the fuck out of Antarctica? Because it really was. He was really just throwing, like, darts at a wall. For the freaking treaties and whatever. Eek. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Okay. Yeah, so he's throwing darts at the wall. We get, like, an introduction to some of his people, like, how he, like, does his tech, what Angela, the engineer, went through to be, like, a Nando. Something interesting about the engineer is, like, originally in the comics, she looks more like a Silver Surfer. So there's an interesting, like, sort of debate about whether or not she was changed. In order, like, if that was the original design, or if she was changed in order to, like, stop people from confusing the two. And I guess that sort of depends on, like, how much James Gunn knew about the Fantastic Four movie. Like, because that kind of assumes, like, he knew everything. I guess, like, it's a Fantastic Four movie, and they're not going to do Galactus. I guess you could easily guess they were going to do a... Even if you weren't gonna guess that they were gonna do the girlfriend instead of the guy, they're gonna do a friggin' Silver Surfer thing. This looks like a lizard. Well, I almost had to start somewhere, right? Where are we? I should probably, like, start crossing things off so I don't confuse myself because I have an eye stigmatism. Okay, yeah, he's back at the Fortress of Solitude. And I think that's where he has a fight. I don't actually remember what happens in that scene. Oh well. Fuck me. I guess, oh. This is what happens. Okay, so basically Lex wants to go to the Fortress of Solitude. So he takes the engineer, he takes Eve, he takes Ultraman. It's kind of funny how Eve is such, like, a literal prop to him. There's no reason to take Eve. Absolutely no reason. And she takes her phone, and it doesn't even, like, permeate his mind. He doesn't think, oh, she's recording us breaking into someone's house. Like, she's so off his radar, it's actually hilarious. She's such just, like, a prop in his life. It's so funny. Because that's like his downfall. The fact that he literally can't see Eve for anything less than a pretty thing that he can show off. But to distract Superman while they're going into the Fortress of Solitude, these two guys release this little monster during the night, and then in the morning he's going to turn into this huge kaiju-esque dragon monster thingy-mabob. And they're able to break in. It's coded to Superman's DNA instead of like the key that weighs so much but doesn't permeate the Earth's core. It's made out of some like material that only Superman can lift, or Superman type entities, but like also doesn't like tear a fucking new one in the Earth. I guess it's coded to his DNA. So Superman is. Ugh, this gets worse by the second. We're just gonna start making details. So Superman kind of just. Superman. Lex Luthor, we don't know why yet, but he's able to go through. And then the Engineer and Ultraman like tear up the robots and tear up Krypto, and it's this cool aura farming moment from Lex Luthor. Anywho's what's it? Where are we now? Oh, during that time, Superman's fighting the kaiju, and we get kind of a. Because there's something he says during the interview fight where he's basically like, the reason I did this is people are gonna die. And that's kind of like the first driving point in the movie, is that he cares so much about life. And we get a very good sort of like deep dive into this scene, because he saves this girl, he saves this dog, he saves a freaking squirrel, which some people have thought was Chip. I think it's just a squirrel, guys. I don't think James Gunn is looking that much into this. Sometimes I feel like we give people too much credit. And this is a little controversial, but I feel like the same way for Kendrick Lamar. I don't mind his music or anything. I just sometimes feel like he's a very smart guy, and he knows how to do double entendres and triple entendres very well. But every once in a while, people say something about something he did, and I'm like, that can't have been deliberate. I feel like you're grasping at little straws. There's no way he's that detail-oriented that he's thinking through every little thing. But I guess I'm not the right guy to speak to it. I don't hate Kendrick Lamar, but even though we're both talking, like, growing up in California and stuff, his music doesn't really speak to me. We don't have the same life experiences. But maybe I'm stupid, but I feel like people give him too much credit. Like, he's already brilliant. You don't have to make him, like, freaking Einstein. But I digress. Because I kind of got off topic. So, the Superman's fighting this kaiju, and he's clearly, like, pulling his punches a little bit. He's not going as hard as he can, and he's making sure everyone's safe. There's, like, a moment where he, like, fans out to stop like a bunch of fire from coming. He like does the follow me. But like I did get like the sentiment. But like how much money in taxes does Metropolis City have to pay? 'Cause like these people, also, how much money do they have to pay for their insurance? Because these people are stupid. Like, the kaiju's there and none of them are moving at a fast enough speed, first of all. And second of all, like, so much property damage because Superman won't kill him. Just fair enough. It is, at the end of the day, an animal. It's just doing what an animal would do. Albeit a violent one that spits fire. Anyways, the Justice Game come up. There's some eye porn with Guy Gardner. I don't really remember what Mr. Terrific does. Something with his T-spears, probably. And then Hawkwoman, like, hits him a few times. And they end up killing it. And Superman gently lifts it to the ground. And then he, like I said, this scene very much encapsulates his whole I want to save everyone shtick. And it's very prevalent in the way that he basically says, like, oh, we could have put it to sleep. We could have, and then like brought it to an alien zoo, or at least killed it in a very humane way. Like, because that's kind of the difference between Batman and Superman. Like, Batman won't kill, and it's really less about the sanctity of life. I mean, it's part of it, but like, it's not the whole thing. But Superman, doesn't want to kill because he cares about the sanctity of life, but he understands that sometimes you have to, and he will do it if he has to. But that's his like last resort. It's not the first thing he's going to. But alternatively, we see the Justice Gang, and they do like a bunch of these violent techniques, and they take it down, and it's very fast. It's very effective. But you also see that none of them try to make sure that the kaiju doesn't fall in them. None of them are really looking out into the crowd. And this kind of comes back later, but basically, at the end of the day, the Justice Gang are a corporation. They are like a private military force. They are hired by a person in order to save people, but they don't have the same drive that Superman does. I think to a lot of, I don't really know what it is to Mr. Terrific, but to some of them it feels like more of about the rush, about the adoration, respectively, rather than like the saving people. Like, I don't think they want people to die. I just don't think that clearly isn't their main focus, like what Superman is. Their main focus is like do the job, get out. And I just said this will be a little more prevalent later, but they know Superman. They're like friends with him to a certain, yeah, they're friends with him. You know, co-workers. Don't know like everything about each other, but like probably know each other's birthday and stuff. During this time, we see some guy looking at his phone, because I guess he has a bunch of Google alerts for Superman or something. I guess it starts playing everywhere. It's very sudden, because at the Fortress of Solitude, the engineer hacks into the Crystal computer, and they find dun 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 the home message, which starts playing, and then we kind of get the scene of like Superman being like, "What do you mean? This is a great message." And then they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that," because the second part of the message starts playing, and he's like, "Oh, fuck." And then you kind of get this like scene where he's kind of going like stony faced, and he goes into Stark Industries, which is fun because it's like a tie-in to Metamorpho, Rex Mason, and Joey. I guess in some, I don't really know if in every universe Joey's related to Stag, but in one he is. So we're just gonna pretend it's real across all boards. So, like, God, Lex is efficient. He gets this message, he distracts Superman long enough to, like, get on a talk show, talk to the linguists, and, like, get it everywhere. Like, I aspire to have that much motivation. Like, I run on spite, but the most I ever did was, like, host a funeral for a spider in front of my teacher. I don't know what was more offensive, the making him sit through a funeral for a spider that he killed, or the fact that it was a Christian funeral, and he was Jewish. I wasn't gonna sit there for some bat. It was a spider, okay? I do understand what it was at the end of the day. I was just a petty third grader. Is it close to bat? Maybe I'm being racist. Okay, so a lot of people were like, "Oh, Lex misinterpreted the scene. He's lying to everyone. Everyone's like turning on him really fast." And then there's a few things that I want to bring up. One, looking at this hellscape that we live in today, I think it's very probable that that like half of the people there that are turning on Superman just already hated him and are just using this as an excuse to hate them. Like a quarter of them are just bots. Like we see like the spider, not that capuchin monkeys, like, but like also just like bot channels like trying to farm off the outrage in order to get more clicks and more money and blah 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 blah. And then like half of them are people that were just kind of like just kind of buying into the propaganda of it all and just like not necessarily hateful, though probably a few of them are because people are very susceptible, but like just scared. There's this guy that can like like hold a 50-ton kaiju, and now there's his parents saying, "Oh, kill and breed, kill and breed, kill and breed," and then they're like, you know, we're just scared people at the end of the day. We didn't really evolve that much from monkeys. If you really think about it, we're just as scared as we used to be. But another thing I wanted to bring up is a lot of people thought that he like faked it, and then that's why Gunn had Mr. Terrific say, who's also very efficient. She just like immediately calls people and was like, "Is this real?" And they're like, "This is real." And it's like, "Damn, okay, shit." Sorry, dude, I don't know what you say. Like, Mr. Terrific says that it's real. I think we're supposed to take that as fact. But on that note, I do have it written down here. I don't think what Lex interpreted was wrong. I do think it was kind of in bad faith. For example, if someone were to say, "Do you like pancakes or waffles more?" And I were to say I like pancakes more, and then someone was like, "Okay, so you hate waffles. You fucking hate waffles. You wish all waffles were dead. If you had to choose between a waffles and a bullet to the head, you would take the gun and do it yourself." And it's like, I never said that, but technically, with the information provided, it's not a wrong conclusion. Technically. And what I think Lex did is more of a bad faith interpretation, especially because, like, if you put something into Google Translate and then you retranslate back, it's like, okay, well, the verb translated over, none of the other words, I don't know how that translated to that because that was not what I typed in the first place. So, I don't think it's interpreted wrong. We get James Gunn saying that, he doesn't think that they're inherently like evil, like conquerors. They're not like, "Oh, take over the world because they're people and we like to kill and, you know, like we want to destroy." And they're not like sadistic. It's kind of colonizer coded, unfortunately, where it's like, "Oh, these are lesser people. These are," he says, "sea turtles. These are sea turtle monkey thingies. You're the best. You are superior in every way. They would be lucky to have you." So, not only, you know, or it's just like they don't see us as humans, so to them it's not cruel. It's not cruelty, especially since they're sending their own son. To them, they are blessing the planet with their only son. So that's why I think it's not like forget the first part. It's like they say the people here are simple and easily confused, weak of mind and spirit. They're just basically like, they don't know what they're doing. And we also don't know, like, when's the last time they looked at the earth. We could have been, like, in the Stone Age, and they're, like, probably still bashing people in the head with stones or something, right? That's what humans are doing. Yeah, that's what humans are doing. They're discovering fire. Get a light bulb, idiot. Like, we don't know exactly how, like, what they've seen. But then we also got Laura saying, "Take as many wives as you can." That's just a mom telling her son to give her grandchildren. People say that it's very harsh, but I think that's the point. I think Lex would take the harshest interpretation of the words. Because, like, it's a little bit of context. It's just saying, like, hey, we're giving, like, our world is dying, you're our only hope, we love you a lot, and this is what you need to do. Well, and yeah, at the end of the day, it is still a little harsh. I'm Latino, colonization wasn't good. I'll be brave and say that. But I don't think it's... I don't think they're trying to cut off Kroll, and I do think that Lex might have taken the worst interpretations, like, whichever interpreter just, like, looked up the harshest words to describe whatever it is saying. Like, maybe Laura just said, give me some grandchildren, and then one of the interpreters was like, have as many wives as you can. Who's to say, really, at the end of the day? But that just makes sense from what Lex is as a person. God fucking damn it, I'm only on 12 and there's 38 of these. I'm gonna actually die. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I've lived 19 years. It's a good run. Okay. Okay, so he goes to the Fortress of Solitude. He finds everything wrecked. Four is on the ground, metaphorically bleeding his guts out. Krypto is gone, so he goes to find Lex. Because he saw him on the news thing. We don't actually really know how familiar they are to each other. We know Lex doesn't know his secret identity, which in some versions he does, and some versions he doesn't. I'm wanting to just, like, dry off a little bit, because it's a little soft, and it's, like, 94 degrees here. Exactly, 94 degrees, damn. They have this scene where, again, Eve's in the background, and, like, no one's paying attention to her, because for Eve. And this is the first time we've seen, like, Superman, like, actually crash out. Like, he throws the desk, but we also see a little bit of his restraint, where, like, if, like, someone was angry, they could throw a desk, but they probably can't throw a desk over what we can only assume is bulletproof windows, because why would Lex have anything different down, like, how many stories, you know? So they kind of see, like, the equivalence here, and, like, how much restraint Superman has to show on a daily basis, because he just, like, easily did that. We'll also see how Lex is just fundamentally not afraid of him, whether it's because he sees him as lesser than, or, like, he thinks he's winning. He just isn't. Like, Eve's kind of freaking the fuck out, and, like, recording it, and Lex isn't. And then you can kind of get the fun scene where Lex is like, ugly dog with the coat. But Superman doesn't get much information from him, and short of the guy, he kind of has to just leave, which is very unfortunate. What are we doing next? Okay, so he's talking with Lane in his, like, in his house, and he's talking about, like, what he knows, like, what information he has, that he has to go after Krypto, and Lane's like, he's just a dog, and then he's like, yeah, and he's not a very good one. He's kind of a shit dog, actually. He kind of brags on him a little bit, but he's probably scared and alone, and I have to get him. He's like, you know, responsibility arc, husband material, or whatever. And, like, in the background, we see the Justice Gang kind of fight this interdimensional imp being, Cthulhu-type Lovecraftian nightmare. I really think Gotham is a fucked place. Honestly, try living anywhere on that earth. God, the insurance rates have to be out of fucking control. There is no way an insurance company makes a profit. There's no way those tax brackets are great. They have to keep rebuilding everything every 15. And all their fucking billionaires keep turning into supervillains. So they're not paying their taxes. And they kiss, I think. I don't really know. I'm not really good at romance parts. So I kind of black them out. We do get a little Peacemaker scene. James Gunn says, like, Peacemaker, Chris is totally the type of guy to, like, believe whatever botted accounts he's following. And he says like it makes sense he would like buy into it. Like kind of rag on Superman a little bit. Um, it's just a fun cameo. And just set up the fact we're getting season 2 later this month. Okay, so he decides to turn himself in. We get a little police brutality from Ultraman there, because why not? We go back to the council before he turns himself in, I think. And he says, give him over to me. I'll get the information you need. Because they're like, we can't hold him. We can't, like, even if we, like, short of killing him, which you say you can do, you know? And they're like, how? We don't have any kryptonite left. Which is an interesting thing to mention. I just thought it was interesting because, like, it's a natural resource, like, on Earth, and I wonder if just, like, Lex used it all, because we don't actually know how he got blowed in this universe yet. So we don't really know who has other kryptonite, how much is still in circulation, albeit, like, maybe black market stuff. But Lex says, don't worry, I got a guy, I know what I'm doing, just let me do it. And they're like, do we need to take him into questioning? You can't just let a guy whose parents say that he needs to kill and enslave the world just stay here in case he kills and enslaves the world. So we go to the collector's house. We go to Lex's pocket dimension, where he basically takes him to the secret place, and then he takes him into the portal, and we meet Mr. Handsome for the first time, who's a clone Lex apparently made when he was 12. So basically his son, and he has a picture of him on the, like, his mantle, like his desk. Lex really needs to stop making children. Someone needs to take the petri dish away from him. Like, he keeps just making children with other people. Like, God knows whose DNA that freak stole to make Mr. Handsome. Like, is that Lex's love language? Just making a child of someone? Not that he, like, gives a shit about Colin, but he seems to give a shit about Mr. Handsome. So maybe if Connor ever does show up, he'll give somewhat of a shit about him. I kind of let the cat out of the bag with Ultraman, but whoops. I don't know, like, he cares a little bit about the engineer, but I don't really think he cared about Ultraman that much. Okay, yeah. Lane and Jimmy are talking because she's trying to connect Varia to Lex Luthor, and she has, like, a few leads, like some money trails and stuff, but she's not exactly sure how. I was just trying to, yeah, whatever, fuck it. It's not gonna look good. I'm just pretending, I'm just kind of fucking it, we ball it. But I know I'm not gonna suddenly get good at making clay as I good at 2D art just because I want to. Anyways, so Jimmy agrees to, like, he says he might have a source to help out, and they find out there's a pocket dimension. Cause she is able to connect that they're selling, like, a bunch of, like, guns and stuff to Bavaria, but that's, like, they're selling them too cheap. For, like, there's, like, something wrong with the money where it's, like, basically he's selling them, but, like, for, like, way too cheap, like, not for market price. There's, like, a lot of missing money, and she kind of has a lead, but she doesn't have all the pieces yet. And she finds out that there's a pocket dimension. Through Jimmy. And something we learned about Jimmy is he's kind of a dick. You don't really know how like, he's supposed to come off like that. Because we got, like, player culture now. So you don't really know how And then, like, back in the 2000s, we always had these like heartthrob characters. I say we, like I was born. We always had these like heartthrob characters. But if I thought about them for too long, they're like just dicks. They're just like dicks, and like people are supposed to like them. They're supposed to be likable in some way or like amiable. But at the end of the day, they're just like dicks. And because we see like Jimmy literally calls her mutant toes, and then like James Gunn says like, oh, she's just pretty normal toes. So that's just something Jimmy did. There's like multiple reasons why he could have. I'm not really good at relationship stuff, so I can't really like comment too much about that. But he could have done it because he's afraid of commitment, and he was just like kind of like laser focusing on something in order to see her as less perfect. And she was very needy. But that's what therapy is for. Like, really, her worst trait was her neediness. Uh, so I don't really see what was too wrong about her. But yeah, there's a bunch of reasons. On the topic of Jimmy, he does this thing in his comics a lot where he cross dresses, and I really hope we get to see something like that, even if it's just he just has like a red wig in his room. That's just a side note. Jimmy kind of just cross dresses for the love of the game. Like, yeah, okay, he had to pretend he was dead. He didn't have to cross dress. He could have just gone. Like, come on. He just finds excuses for it. Let's be really honest. I don't know if this is getting better or worse. Um, but we can get off this. We see even Jimmy meet up where he's basically like promising others these things in order to get what he wants. It's another person using Eve. I think even though Eve is a hero through and through, I think it would be kind of funny if we got like a villain arc from her, because like it's just all these people that are seeing right through her, and we never really get too much of a reconciliation of that, which is unfortunate because she's the hero of the story. Um, what else? Okay, so we're at the Hall of Justice, and in the background we see a lot of like these old like Silver Age and Golden Age characters. There's two. They say that two are going to be very relevant later. We see Giovanni, who's probably it, and maybe Wildcat. I could care less about Giovanni. Like he's not. I don't. He's not a bad person. I just don't care about him. I love Wildcat because he's just an old man in a what is only can be determined as like a cat onesie who just punches people really hard. Um, with another person we got is like Freedom Beast, which is weird. We got Freedom Beast and not Wanna Beast. I really like Wanna Beast, but maybe they're trying to take the white implications out of it, which is fair, I guess. I can't really comment about how offensive he was because I don't really remember, and also it's like not really my place. It wasn't maybe appropriating my culture. Um, but I still like Wanna Beast. I liked when he was with Vixen in Batman and the Brave and the Bold. Um, I don't really like her with John, but that's because I want Warhawk so badly. I want Warhawk so badly. I love Warhawk. He doesn't show up enough because he's not really real, and that's just a freaking shame because Warhawk's so fucking cool. I don't know if this is coming together or not. Um, you wouldn't be able to see that. It's a dog, I suppose. Then what else can you ask for a dog? I guess it's a source style. I guess I'm not going for realistic anymore. I'm just trying to get something noticeable and something that won't explode in my oven. Okay, where are we? Freaking 18. Oh, I'm gonna die here because I can't turn on my fan because it's too loud. Not that people can probably hear me. Um, Yeah, okay, Hall of Justice. This is where Lewis tries to convince people because she learns about the pocket dimension to help her out. Mr. Terrific reveals he has nanobots and everything. Why? Something about being smart makes you inherently sociopathic. I think it's just because, like, people who aren't, like, geniuses can't write geniuses without making them sound a little sociopathic. It's, like, a thing. Um, but he means well. So he's like buying into it a little bit and he wants to see what's going on because he finds it suspicious. The other two don't want to do it, and then Lewis Lane insults guys. Bowl cut deserved, and then he talks about like all these women love it, and it's like, oh, there's a lot of blind people in DC. A lot of blue eyes, a lot of blind people. Oh god, I don't know if I mean that worse or better. But I did it. So we're going to commit. Um. Okay, so Superman's in this pocket dimension now. They kind of flirt a little bit. It's not like a big deal. Don't freak out. He gets like sent to this box with Element Man, Metamorpho, Rex Mason, who can turn any part of his body into another element, including kryptonite. And he's doing that because his son, Joey, cute little freak that he is being held captive in another thing. And we realize how, like, sadistic Lex Luthor really is, because, like, a lot of the people in there are just, like, ex-girlfriends or, like, journalists. But he also has, like, he's able to keep this up because he also keeps, like, prisoners of war in there. So it's this whole system. Anyway, I need a better reference. So Luther's like saying, hang out here for a little bit, I'll be right back. And then he's like, Rex, don't do anything stupid or I'll kill your baby. I don't care. I'm crazy. Um, and Superman tries to appeal to that. I'm like, Rex is like, fuck that. I don't know you, bro. I'm not gonna risk everything. Like, what if my child dies? Like, hell to the no. Um, so we kind of like leave the scene there for a little bit, but then Lex comes back, and he's got falafel guy. Malik, I don't remember, and I feel bad, and I don't feel like looking it up. So I guess I don't feel that bad. So he's got him with him, and he's like Russian roulette. If you don't tell me what I want to know, I'll fucking kill this guy. And then Superman is like, he just gave me food, like I don't know him. And then he's like, okay, bro, and like shut the fuck up and ask. So Lex kills him. It's a little anticlimactic. Lex thought that would last longer. I mean, who didn't? And Superman kind of has this silent like freak out about it, because this is like, he just lost his first fight, and this is the first time he's like actually been powerless, and it's like, it's not a good feeling to feel powerless in any circumstances. Why do you think Lex does the things he does? But yeah, it hits different, and but it also hits different for Metamorpho. I don't know. I'm doing some pinata thing for Metamorpho, because he was kind of just rationalizing everything. That's good reason. I mean, he's a parent. Superman's not a parent. He doesn't really understand it, and he's still kind of not processing what his family has said about enslaving the whole world, and how that kind of rocks his whole world point and everything he knows that is good and true, and all his like motivations in life, and everything he's done is for nothing because he was supposed to take over this world and he didn't. Sort of like a Goku thing. But I don't actually know how much Goku struggled with his, anything, really. guess I'm making a pinata now. Yeah, I have tools here, I suppose. I just don't remember where I put them. Also, they're not really tools. I just don't use them the way I'm supposed to. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So it kills it, and this Rex was able to rationalize this to a certain point because it's his child that was in danger, and he's not like killing Superman. Maybe, probably, like at least he doesn't think he is. Like he takes it away. Like Superman will be fine. We see that later. So to him, he's kind of just like doing what he has to do, and he can sort of rationalize it because Superman's very strong. He's probably seen him online. He probably doesn't think that Superman is killable, let alone that he's strong enough to do so. He's just like, Superman has to answer these questions, and everything will be fine, and blah 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 blah. But then this guy dies, an innocent guy just dies in front of him, and it might have been the first time he's seen that. We don't know. But he stopped the guy that could have stopped it. So now he feels very responsible for that. And he's like, tells Superman, he's like, you promise you can do this because I can't let another person die, especially my son. And the only way for all that to happen is for you to stop this. And I need to know you were able to stop this. And Superman says, yeah. And then he like takes the ring off, and like nothing happens because, you know, he's been poisoned for a little too long. And we kind of get a reveal of how smart Rex is, because he's like pretty sure he's like an archaeologist, which, you know, it's not really like that conducive to chemistry, but transfer over. Anyways, because Rex basically like it's like, okay, I need to make a sign, and bro just makes a sign, which is enough to like heal Superman enough for him to punch through the glass and get Joey. And then Rex is like, you have to hold on to him. I can't really do both in this form, which is like, okay, if you say so. If you say so, Metamorpho. So, sorry. Rex kind of fucks some shit up with some guys by putting, I think, sulfuric acid in some people's eyeballs. Kind of just, and kind of like, and then like Superman saves Krypto, but then he also kind of, I guess he's not used to fighting with a baby, which like Superman would be. I mean, Batman would be. God damn it, I ruined my own joke. He's not used to fighting with a baby, so that's the whole thing. And the whole time I was screaming, "Shake it, baby, shake it, baby!" I mean, Jesus Christ, Joey is a trooper for real, because any other baby would have just died from any sort of impact. I don't think Superman could do by holding on to him hard enough. That's not how babies work. During this point, Lane is able to convince Mr. Terrific to come with her, and they get into his like ship, and they go off to where he was last found, and we get a kind of Yondu Yaka arrow scene, which is always fun, where he aura farms, and it's cements him as the coolest character in the show. And then he like tracks his steps, and they find the pocket dimension, and they go in, and they're looking for Superman, and then they see him, and they see everyone else, and they're able to like save everyone in the nick of time, you know. But a few T-Spears get lost in the excitement. Krypto assumes that they're toys. I mean, they are ball shaped, and I'm sorry, spear. And they close up the portal. Lois has to take him somewhere for him to heal a little bit, because the sun only did so much. Rex kind of just disappears with his child. I guess he could make food with his body. We don't really know how Rex is able to make it back from God knows where, but he's resourceful, I guess. And he leaves with Joey. I don't know if this is getting uglier or about the same. Kind of reminds me of like Latino like sculptures where it's kind of like looks sort of like the animal, but it's slightly like angular lines that you don't really expect. Uh, it's fine. I'm the only one that has to stare at this. So, game. Yeah, so Mr. D stays behind to make sure that the portal is all shut down and to get as much information as he can. And then Lewis goes into the T-Sphere to take Superman over to the Kent's house. God, I've been talking about this for like so long. I'm gonna pass out. I'm only on 24 out of 38. Okay, so he sleeps. Krypto sleeps with him. It's a cute moment. And he goes outside and he's talking to his dad. We're gonna let this dry a little bit. So he's talking to his dad, and it's a thing because Superman's feeling a little lost, but all these things are happening that he can't really talk about. Especially with like, it's not really relatable to be like, my parents want me to take over the world, and everyone thinks I have a secret harem now. And also it's like, you know, he clearly doesn't like seem like the type that talks about this sort of stuff. Like seeing like the way he blows up, doesn't really sound like the king of healthy communication there. But God, I'm so hot. This is like the time I went out into 100-degree weather with COVID, and I just became a shell of a human being, just drawing X-Men on the floor with chalk, dying. I don't know why my mom let me do that. I was like, see things. I was half convinced that Storm was gonna jump out at me. So Superman is a good person through and through, and a lot of that comes from his parents. He has this idealized vision of them. He loves them a lot, and he doesn't know a lot about them, and they're telling him to be good, and he's already a good person from what the Kents have instilled in him. So it's kind of just like building this brick, this sort of, that is his like motivation. The reason he does what he does is like whatever and stuff. So this sort of like his psyche, his pillar, his motivations, his goal, or whatever, is built on being good. And the most important break in all of this is his parents, who he does not know, and all he knows about them is they're saying to do good things, according to him. And then that pillar is just shattered unexpectedly while his home is invaded. So not only is his home invaded, his dog taken, his creations destroyed, he also just doesn't have a foundation left. But the theme of this movie is, it's kind of like a side theme, is that like the Kents are his family too. And I think parents aren't perfect. And when you have, I'm putting things out there, if you have dead parents, you're kind of able to put whatever you want on them. They can be whoever you want them to be. You know, they don't have to have flaws, because you've never seen them. Because you grow up and you realize your parents have flaws. If your parents are dead, you don't have to, unless like something like this happened, you don't have to realize that they had flaws. Unless you like looked in files and stuff and talked to people. But not from them directly. So this is the first time that his pedestal got shattered. Like, the parents that he put on his pedestal. And now he is wondering, like, is he even a good person? Why does he do the things that he does? Is this, like, worth it if everyone's gonna think that he's a bad person that just wants to enslave the whole world and take a bunch of wives? And I don't remember everything John said, but the point of it all was, like, basically him saying that parents don't define who you are. They can only give you so much. They can only give you a perspective. Parents are not, kids are not defined by the parents' actions. It's about what they do. And, like, it's about what you do. If you think you are a good person, or if you do good things, it does not matter who your parents are. It does not matter how you grew up. It does not matter what your, like, psyche and stuff is. It has nothing to do with your parents. At some point you have to become your own person and not, like, let them define who you are. Let them define why you do the things you do, blah 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 blah. Point being is, like, Superman realized that Kal realized that maybe his parents aren't who he thought he was. But maybe, and it's another way, maybe his parents are who he thought he was. He just had the wrong parents. Because he thought his parents were kindness, but his parents were sort of these indifferent scientists that just kind of wanted to save their own race. Except his adoptive parents are kindness. So it's kind of the double edge of being like, oh yeah, this is where I got my values from. This is where I should do good things, I should be a good person. Not from these people that told me to do something. It's from the people I grew up with. And two, even though I got it from these people, like, I'm not defined by any of them, not even, like, the good part. I am who I am, I make my own decisions, I am my own person. Blah, 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 blah. We continue on. I don't really know how to end that scene. And I'm running out of things. So, here's another thing where I just didn't really remember how this went. So, Lex decides to draw Superman out by, like, starting up the portal, and it's, like, wrecking everyone's shit. It's, like, opening this rift between worlds because I guess you shouldn't have pocket dimensions. Apparently that's not healthy for the universe. To open a hole up into space and time and create your own galaxy and universe in which you can exist. Who would have thought? So it does the thing unstable science does, and it unstables the world. And I think around this time, Eve, like, Lex is tweaking the fuck out. Like, he knocks over his cup twice like a cat in order to sadistically watch the interns pick it up. And he, like, throws a pen at Eve, and it, like, hits her. And, like, that's, like, her last straw. Because a lot of what Lex did was just, like, come over here, or just flat out ignores her. And I don't know if this is the first time, but this is, like, the first time in the movie we see her kind of, like, directly and, like, involve her. Like, not sort of, like, talking in her direction, like, directly, like, communicating to her, and it's to throw something at her in a fit of rage. And, like, she's just done with it. She saw a dog at her, and she's still not over it. She saw Superman freak out, and she's still not over that. So she calls Jimmy, and she says she's gonna give him everything, and she's a little dumb, okay? She's a little dumb. She said it, like, 2 feet away, in front of a Superman clone. And she doesn't get taken away from it, but not before she sends the photos. And the funny thing is, Lex fundamentally cannot see Eve, even when she's actively betraying him. He does not check her phone to see what she sent. He probably didn't even, like, go back to look for it. Like, he just so not, she's his girlfriend, and he just so does not see her. It's almost funny. Like, ultimately, that's his downfall. Like, just as inability to see everything that's going around in front of him because he believes he knows what's happening. He thinks he can see into the future, so he doesn't take a step back and look at what's actually happening, because that admits that he has no control of the situation and the situation is not going to go the way he planned. So if he believes he can see this future, then he is that smart and he knows everything's going to happen and he knows he's in control. But he's just none of those things. And it's one of his greatest weaknesses. It's his pride. So, yeah. Okay, so Superman comes back and he's with Mr. Terrific. And Mr. Terrific's a little useless here. But, like, they can fight Superman. It makes a little sense. So he kind of gets knocked out. You know, Black Man goes first, horror movie style. And Engineer and Ultraman are kind of like rocking his shit. And so Engineer, I guess Lex wanted him to have the most fucked death he could think of. Because God forbid a diva doesn't diva. And so he gets Engineer to like suffocate him with nanites, which is going to take a while because he can hold his breath. So they're just going to like suck up every last bit of oxygen. So he can't like hold his breath, I suppose. But since he can still hold his breath, he has enough time to fly up into, I don't know, the stratosphere. I'm not going to pretend I understand the differences. And then like comes back down and just kind of like comments it, and like Engineer's still stuck to him, so she kind of gets like, respectfully, she kind of gets harassed back, like she gets knocked out, and we see Lex somewhat cares about her, whether or not it's like he worked with her for a long time and she's competent. So unlike Eve, he like recognizes her somewhat as a human being, or it's because she's his creation in a way. And he clearly somewhat cares about his creations. Though, again, he doesn't really care about Ultraman. Anyways, Ultraman is revealed to be a Superman clone. A lot of people think he's Bizarro. Because in some versions, Bizarro is a clone. Some versions he comes from Bizarro world. It's comic books. Who cares? Bizarro comes out. Why am I calling him Bizarro? So, yeah, we see the Superman clone. They start fighting. And we get this great scene with Lex where he's basically, like, Superman calls him jealous. I mean, and Lex is like, no shit, Sherlock, where did you get that from? It's only like everything I've been doing is out of envy. It's only like I hate when everyone is even compared close to me. You think I don't understand that? You think I'm stupid? Like, it's really funny because a lot of times we don't see these guys admit flaws. But I guess to Lex, being jealous isn't a flaw. It's a driving force. It's his motivation. So it makes sense he wouldn't see it as, like, a flaw. But he's basically like, oh, really, genius? How did you come to that conclusion? Was it the way that I hate everything you stand for because people pay attention to you? It's kind of funny. I don't know. I just like that scene where he's, like, talking about, like, when he's getting compared to Plato and Aristotle, but then he's like, I hate those people, but not as much as I hate you. Imagine having beef with Aristotle, though. Like, bro's been dead, okay? You gotta get over it sometime, Legs. Okay. So, he's fighting Ultraman, he's doing the whole thing, he has this whole scene of, it's like, I guess it really is, at the end of the day, brains versus brawn. There's also the famous 1A scene, where the first thing that Lex coded in, because of course he did, was punching Superman directly in the face, which is funny. Anyways, we get like the T-scene callback, where we get Krypto. He's like raiding a pet smart, and he comes back and he destroys all the balls so he can't talk with Ultraman. So Ultraman is kind of like caught off guard because he clearly has some sort of brain because eventually he's able to like fight back and get somewhat of an upper hand before Superman takes it back. But he doesn't. He's clearly not. It takes him a while to recuperate after not being able to like hear someone, and Lex kind of like freaks out because he's not able to like have control of the situation anymore. Eventually, Superman pushes him into the black hole created by the machine, and everyone's like, okay, well, he's getting Bizarro now. There he goes, fallen soldier. See you later, Bizarro. Which, you know, fair enough. Why not? Why not make him Bizarro? Bizarro's a cool character. It'd be fun if they can get him to talk right. Because he didn't really talk yet. Mr. Terrific's like, what are you doing? Like, he didn't just, like, pass out the whole time. He has the audacity to be like, what are you doing laying there? Like, he wasn't just knocked the fuck out for that whole fight. I admire that, to be like, what are you doing sitting there? Just, like, getting mad at someone for sleeping when he just, like, took a nap. Like, right before them. Okay, I got a little ahead of myself here. Oh, okay. Well, people are evacuating because, like, a rift's opening up in the sea, and they're trying to convince Lex to not make it happen, and Lex is like, I don't give a shit about Metropolis. Let it burn to the ground. I'll stop it if like, I see somewhere I like is gonna get fucked up. And they're like, okay. So Lex is just watching it all happen. He also has like this emergency thing where he just kind of lets his building be destroyed because he just has a floating office. That's a shit because of course he does. But in the background, while people are fleeing, Lois Lane and Jimmy present their findings to Perry. And Perry's like, okay guys, let's go. Kat, Steve, Drew. And then everyone's like, who? I'm sorry, but who is Drew? Who the fuck is Drew? Has he been here this whole time? Am I just the racist one for not noticing the other black man in the room? Because I swear to God, this is the first time Drew has been fucking mentioned this whole time. But I guess Drew's coming along with, I don't know what he does. Maybe he's just the emotional support guy. So Drew's also here. And they get into the TV to, like, write the article because they got what they needed from Eve because she sent off the things. And I think this scene is it's so ridiculous, but if you think about it a little hard, it's very indicative of the whole kind of, like, underlying thing of the movie where nothing... How do I explain this? The movie's more based on how the characters would act rather than their backstory. It feels a lot kind of like real life rather than, whatchamacallit. Like, it feels like real life. It feels like a comic book rather than, like, going in and watching a movie. It feels like we're dropping in on, like, a couple of days of Superman's life, which, you know, happened to be batshit fucking insane, but that's because it's Superman. Like, he's not good. Like, if you dropped into my life, it would just be me not sleeping till, like, 6 o'clock in the morning and then waking up at 10 and then not doing anything for 3 hours. But if you dropped into Superman's life, something interesting might be happening. And that's, like, it also feels like a comic book because it's, like, there's a lesson, there's a supervillain, and he's defeated, like, in a 30-minute TV show. And... I'm sorry, I'm trying not to, like... I've added so many indentations, I'm trying to, like, push so hard that, like, they get fucked up on the other side after I did them all. Yeah, so it feels like real life in the way because we get... Because, like, a person wouldn't be like, hi, my name is blank, I do the things I do because of my blank wife left me, and I'm the social security manager here. Like, no, they're just kind of, like, living their lives and doing the things that they do. You see that also with the Justice Gang, that they're kind of there and people kind of know who they are. And they know that, like, Maxwell Lord kind of, like, got them here. So it's very well, like, we dropped into an established universe rather than Marvel's sort of approach where there was like a bunch of guys in the 1940s that did things and then like superheroing kind of like stopped, and then for some reason in like the 2010s everyone and their mother started getting powers and becoming vigilantes and becoming heroes, and you're like, okay, well, if you existed this whole time, where were you? What were you doing? What was so important that you couldn't pick up a phone and help? Like, Matt, like, what was so important that you couldn't have been bothered to do shit? But it's less like that, and we're like, I think we also see like heroes existed in the halls of justice, and we get the feeling that some things are just kind of a part of life. Like, Joey kind of goes back to his wife, and clearly, like, she's okay with him like that, and, like, having a weird-ass son. It's assuming that she had sex with him while he was, like, weird, and then they got the weird-ass son. But, as I said, like, metahumans existed for 300 years, and we got some indication that some things are around, like the corpse, the lantern corpse are around, and it would like, there's some things like you can kind of sort of speculate, like it would make sense if the lantern corpse were around and they just saw a guy was there and they're like, he probably has a handle. We don't have to like hang out with him or talk to him or be around him or help him. He's competent. Please say he's competent. I don't want to speak with him. I've had a really hard week. like things like that. I guess like there's the whole like one about Hawkman. But I swear to God, if Carter starts this bullshit again, I do not care if the 5 Hawkman fans hate my ass. I'm a fucking Kyle Rayner fan. I know my fucking place, okay? We're never getting a movie. We're never getting a TV show with Kyle, okay? You're probably gonna get Hawkman, okay? But if he fucking touches a hair on her head and does his whole "we should be together" bullshit, sit the fuck down, Carter. I swear to God, I'll kill you. I'm like not playing. First of all, I need Warhawk so badly. Second of all, I just had it up to here with his bullshit. Like he stopped romancing her 500 years ago. He just shows up like, hey bitch, remember me? Like fucking Jesus, Carter, get her a flower every once in a while. I'm sorry. I'm getting pissed off. I just wish Gentleman Ghost would have already, but I guess he's still around. Whatever. I just swear to God, if he fucks this up for me, I will. I don't know what I'll do. I'll think about it real hard, though. Or maybe I'll manifest it. I still don't know if manifesting exists. That doesn't look like feet. I got off topic. Basically, my point is that a lot of these characters are less based around their backstories and their motivations, like why they do what they do, and more based around how they would act and who they are as people and how they act on a regular day-to-day. Like, it's not about how, like, oh, what's the chief's, like, home life like? What's his relationship with his wife like? Why does he care about all these, like, important issues? Why would he stay here? It's like, no, he's the kind of guy that would stay during when you're supposed to evacuate in order to get the story of the century out. It doesn't really matter why he would be that person. And I think it's sort of the way because everyone and their mother kind of knows who Superman is in, like, one way or another. At least in the West. Like, even if they just know he's an alien. Which, okay, he's an immigrant. Let's just get that out of the way. He's from an alien planet. Being an alien and an orphan and being an immigrant, you can be all of those things. People can have more than one label. Intersectionality exists. So... Oh god, I got a little off topic. So... Like, oh god, I don't actually remember what I was talking about. Who fucking cares? I'm literally just yapping and dying. And it's not a very attractive feel for me. Whatever. I lost my train of thought. Um, Superman. Oh yeah, sorry. This is what. Okay, so everyone and their mother knows things about Superman, even if it's just like, oh, he was an alien. And I think this kind of applies to what I was talking about. So it means like, especially to people that care a lot about like Superman and stuff. Like, I think we're supposed to, in a way, supposed to put our projections of what we like about the character directly onto them. Sort of like a psychological warfare thing where it's like, well, I have this idealized version or this version of Jimmy in my head. And then they give me a Jimmy that I agree with or is exactly like the comics. I'm just using this as a broad example. And then I kind of connect Jimmy in my head to the face you just gave me. And now this character, I like this character and I don't like need backstory and I don't need all this. And I think it didn't work for some people, but it definitely worked for me. So yeah, I'm a very susceptible person, so there was no doubt it was gonna work on me. Let's be real honest. Okay, I think I finished the body. The tail's kind of fucked, but that's because I kind of fucked up, the pipe cleaner part, and I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, there's the pipe cleaners right there. It is what it is. So now I have to do the cape part. Um, where are we? Okay, so we put this idealized version of the character onto them, and that's how we connect to them. Gotta get my reference. There we go. And yeah, it worked for me. I just kind of wanted to like touch on the fact that there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and I think it worked in a way. I think it's because it's supposed to be a superhero universe, and so superhero things are supposed to have existed and have existed for a long while. So things are just gonna be happening. Plot threads aren't gonna be all tied up. Things are gonna be happening. Because that's what happens in a world. Not everything is about one person. Even if we're focusing on Superman, Superman isn't involved in every aspect of life on this earth, and not every person is involved in Superman's life in all versions. And that's why I think it works, despite not exactly following a rubric of what people would think would make a good movie, which is like making you care about the characters by like explaining why you should in one way or another. It's kind of got a thick choker here. We're gonna roll with it. God, why does it have little spots on it? What else? So they're writing the article in the thing. Um, okay, I don't remember what the other place is called. It's like tea something. So the tea people are watching the Bavarians come in with all their like tanks and stuff. And I guess that, okay, for a place that is supposed to be, according to the propaganda machine, an evil place that subjugates its people, they just don't have a military force, whether it be like US gets their hands in the pots. It wouldn't be unrealistic to think that maybe a Western country struck a deal with this tea place in order to severely weaken their military power, and then the ally country that is right next door to them realizes this and sort of benefits from this by being more open, market wise and other and rule wise to the USA or another Western country in order to keep their forces up, and then realize that the place they don't like kind of got fucked over, and now that they can attack them willy-nilly, and who's going to stop them because the Western country is on their side. Anyways, so they have to fight a bunch of peasants. We're not going to talk about geopolitical issues. Yeah, I kind of got a little ahead of myself here. So there's like a fun scene when the little kid's like raising the tower, and we get like this message of hope. All these people, they're calling for Superman, but Superman's a little busy, guys. Okay, can you just cool it on the war for a second? He's trying to stop Metropolis from fucking imploding in on itself. You're being a little selfish. Can you stop being invaded for one goddamn second? He's only one person. So Superman goes to Lex Towers, and like he confronts Luthor, and he's like, "You say I'm not human, but I am. I live, I die, I breathe like a human. Like I get up every day, and I make mistakes, and I learn from them, and I work hard, and I love, and I feel. And if that's not what makes me human, then no one on this planet is." And like Lex Luthor sort of like scoffs or whatever. And then Krypto comes in and like beats his shit in. I'm like, Superman is sort of both trying to stop him and like kind of trying not to. And then Mr. Terrific comes in and the guy's like, I can stop it. And he's like, I'm fucking Mr. Terrific. Step the fuck off, pedo mustache. I'm sorry. He's actually got a cool like 80s grunge style, but like it's kind of fun to call like porn mustaches pedo mustaches. It just is what it is. Anyways, I don't know if this is, you know what we're committing. Yeah, so Mr. Terrific turns it off. Then, in the background we see, like, two different things are happening. Once the article gets released, and Lex, is taken down, both physically and, like, financially and professionally, like just everything he's worked hard to get is wiped from the world, mostly because of Eve. Shout out Eve. And then in the background we also see that Metamorpho, which I don't know how I don't really know how you got there, but I guess he's turning a hero leaf. And then Hawkwoman and Guy Gardner. And I want to talk about them for a little bit because, as I said in the beginning, a lot of the things that they do is because they're kind of hired. Like, it's not that they're not heroes, but they're heroes for hire. They're sort of an asterisk. They're called in to do the things they do. They do them, and they do it efficiently, and they don't really think about, like, everything the same way Superman does. There's no, like, ethos, I guess, to them. They don't have any, like, central message. And there's, like, you know, something, it's inherently capitalistic. You know, they're owned by this mega corporate billionaire guy. And at the end of the day, they answer to him, and he pays their bills. And he got them the Hall of Justice, and he probably put himself up there, or his dad. It's a little unclear who's on there. But whoever it is, he clearly sees them as important enough to be with all these other heroes. And God damn. Balls. And this is kind of the first time we see them sort of take a less like it's not super violent approach. Like they still do the things they do. Like Hawkwoman like fucking murks him, but this is kind of like the first time we see them do something because it's the good thing to do. Just like full stop. Like not with all these different caveats on it. Because like Lois Lane asks them to help Superman, even though they're his friends. Like they don't do it. And I guess it's sort of like supposed to be interpreted that the reason that they do it is because they get inspired by Superman, because all these people want him. Like, yeah, they get all this praise, but no one's out there asking for Guy Gardner, no one's asking for Hawkwoman, no one's asking for Mr. Terrific. So they get these praise. People know who they are, but no one's, especially not in like impoverished places, the places that no one's helping. Like, none of these people are asking for them. They're kind of like the cops in this way. Like, in a place where cops don't like go to a lot, they're not going to ask for the cops to help them. They're going to go in the community, or maybe like some leader there, religious or otherwise, the same way like no one in Bavaria is asking for the Justice Gang, because none of them believe that they will help them. And so they do this completely isolated in and of themselves. Like, they're helping because they want to help, not because they'll get money from this or get fame or recognition. The Guy Gardner's there, so whatever. Point is, they're doing this because they want to, and they're doing this because it's a good thing to do. Minus Metamorpho. Metamorpho is just kind of on his hero arc, and we're gonna support him through it. But it's a fun moment for them not to be like this corporate backed like mega violent assholes for once. I don't really know why I have a running nose right now. It's so hot. Eek. This could be cleaner, but I've committed. Now time to do the cape. So they help. Metamorpho's probably on the team. He's just kind of sort of happy to be there, team spirit, and he appealed to Guy Gardner's ego, so he's like, fine. Guess we have to have one ugly guy on the team, even though he's the ugly guy on the team. And the articles, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little behind on my list. Oh, okay, Lex gets arrested. They call him like a bald freak, which is like, Jesus, okay. I'm gonna be baldest to him. And the monkeys are saved. I guess like all the people are saved too. Like Eve and that girl in her prom dress or whatever that was gonna sell out Superman. Though, to be fair, she was there for like years. Homegirl is just like out for herself at this point. Who knows how long she's been in that fucking scratchy ass dress. I don't blame her for trying to sell someone out the second she got the chance to. But yeah, all of those monkeys are saved. It's gonna be an interesting rehab center. Because in theory, there is infinite monkeys. And I don't know where you put infinite monkeys, especially infinite monkeys that are trained to type mean things. I don't know what the recovery process looks like. I don't know if they can be saved. I don't know who's going to take 1 billion monkeys. But I suppose we're supposed to assume that they'll be just fine. Superman and Lois Lane go somewhere private to make... Fuck. I fucked up the cave. Go somewhere private to make out. We get this scene where it seems like everyone knows that they're gonna do that. Whether or not they know that he's Clark Kent or not is a little ambiguous, but it feels like they know somewhat. They at least know that they're gonna fuck. And Eve sees Jimmy, and then we kind of get this sort of ambiguous scene where he's like, we don't really know if he's just like indulging her or if he actually like has some respect for her. Like, I think it's very easy for people to write Eve off. She's an influencer. She's giggly. She's bubbly. She's kind of stupid. She's very pretty. But not in like an assertive, forceful, confident way, in a sort of ditzy, whatever you want, baby kind of way. And I think it was very easy for him to not have any respect for her, especially when she was probably annoying the frick out of him. And so this is like, he's forced to admit like that she has some worth, I think, and I don't know how that will be interpreted, if it's just like he feels bad enough for her to like be the sense of comfort because like she's got no one else there like waiting for him, like that girl had her mom, or if he like actually is gonna try something with her, because we also see like he doesn't really like see her as attractive one way or another, which is yikes. I don't know if I made this cape too big. I suppose it doesn't matter. I made the everything too much. um so we'll see if he like actually, if they actually like get together. It's supposed to be left a little ambiguous. Maybe this is sort of like a redemption arc for Jimmy the player. um, oh, okay. Then we got the post-credit scenes. The first one, oh wait, no. The end of the movie, he's like, take a picture of my parents, and it's home videos of the Kents, and it's very cute, and it's very adorable. And then we end, and it's just like kind of the culmination of like, yeah, his parents taught him to be kind, and it wasn't the parents he thought they were. God, fucking, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, Superman's kind of being a dick because Mr. Terrific didn't get it perfectly level, and Superman feels bad about it because Mr. Terrific's like, I tried my best. What do you want me to do? Start it all over? So that's a funny scene. And then we get the post-credit scene where we kind of see Kara. She's there. So that's Supergirl, which is his cousin. So she's there. I don't know how much volume I can get on this cape, being that it's, you know, only so thick and only can support so much of its own weight. So she's kind of a drunk because they're kind of doing a Woman of Tomorrow thing. The thing about Kara is she's technically older than Clark as she was born first, but there's like super mumbo jumbo. And I saw from an article, but I don't know if it's like true because they like kind of just say things now. Nothing means anything anymore. That like the reason she didn't say anything about the message is because she's younger and she doesn't know. I like to think the reason she didn't say like all that much is because she. How do I explain this? Maybe she just didn't think it mattered. I think that would be also a fun interpretation if it's just like she wanted to remember her family as like good guys, and they were one dead. Clark wasn't gonna take over the planet anytime soon, and he didn't have the whole message, and she didn't think he was gonna be able to fix it anytime soon. So maybe she just was like, maybe it's better if he thinks that they liked Earth and they wanted him to be kind and like all of this is hunky dory. Maybe. I think that's a fun interpretation. I don't think they're gonna go there, but I think it would be funny if. I guess funny is not the right. I think it would be cool if Kara just straight up just didn't think it would be helpful, didn't want to think about it, because if she thought about it, she'd have to think about how her parents aren't perfect, or how her world isn't perfect, and her world's God, and she remembers it, and Clark doesn't. You know, if they, but like they're saying, like Kara's younger somehow. I guess like a 3 month to 1 month old. I guess we don't really know a lot. We can only speculate. So it's not really a plot hole, more like a chance for more to happen. That's kind of like the whole movie, where it's like, yeah, I get in some ways it's a plot hole, but more it's like just giving the opportunity for more about the character to be explored in later media, I suppose. And that is the movie. God damn. I did it, I suppose. I feel empty inside. I mean, I don't get enjoyment out of things, so I'm depressed. I don't know how, like, as you can see, I realized very early on that I'm not very good at talking to other people that aren't really here because I just didn't talk to them. And according to the guidelines, and something you're not supposed to do. But that's not really my problem, I suppose. I didn't really think I'd have to talk to people. Yeah, well, I probably gotta put this in the oven for like 4 hours. No, it's like 15 minutes for how thick it is. So probably like an hour, like 20 minutes. So probably like an hour and a half at most. And then I gotta paint it. I guess right now I have to see that there's no exposed supports. Then I suppose I'll have the finished product on my Instagram. And I'll probably finish this tonight or tomorrow. Not that anyone's really that involved in this. God, I never, like, I did comedy, I guess, I suppose. And I did it for my talent show in high school. And I didn't know how to end that either. I just don't know how to end things. It's probably why I have abandonment issues, because I don't know when it's over. And so, I don't detach myself enough. I'm kind of trauma dumping, which is fine. I want to be the first people I shouldn't have, but did anyway, too. It's a behavior. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for indulging me, whoever is here. I don't know why you would do that to yourself, but I've done weirder things when I'm bored. Case in point. And have a good day, I suppose. It is summer. I will probably do nothing for the rest of the day. So, God, yeah, I'm bad at this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I will get better maybe if I feel like doing this again. I promise. I won't promise. I can't keep promises. Anyways, ciao.